Breakfast puppies?
This podcast contains adult language and content and is meant for mature audiences. Listener discretion is advised.
It's the Glitterbois!
Welcome back, listeners. We are joined with a special guest today. This would be just Jacob from one of our other sister, associate, half-brother, mongrel, stepchild podcasts, Bikers, Dice, and Bars.
Howdy, howdy, folks.
What a glittering lead-in.
Yeah.
The mongrel podcast at the far end of the bar that you don't want to accept the drink they offered you.
Just don't make eye contact. Just don't make eye contact.
Glittering lead-ins are what we do.
So we asked Jacob here because Jacob is a resident expert in a number of different gaming systems that NPC and I we're familiar with, but we don't have the same level of familiarity. Now, the Palladium covers a massive amount of ground. I mean, it's a huge landscape, and well, with the exception of Kevin Siembieda, no one man can cover all the Palladium ground.
Yeah, that's probably true. There might be one other, but unfortunately he's dead. So, yeah.
And he's been dead a while now.
Yeah.
And Palladium has released new things since then. So even his knowledge would be more limited. Rest in peace, Eric.
Yep. Rest in peace, Eric.
Yeah. Well, the games that Matthew and I are most familiar with, I would say, are squarely going to be Ripped, Robotech, and Fantasy.
Yep.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yep. And some Ninja Turtles here. But I've got some other guests in mind for when we finally talk about Ninja Turtles. We'll keep that a surprise.
Yeah.
But people have been asking us online, when are you going to talk about Heroes Unlimited? When are you going to talk about Beyond the Supernatural and other stuff? Well, that's what we're here to do. So bringing in our resident expert.
So where you want to start with Heroes Unlimited? It's a colorful history of being edited without updating its edition, where it started being published, what it is. Where you want to start with this?
I want to talk about the effect that this yellow-clad lady's bottom had on 13-year-old Matthew. I mean, that is an amazing modern muscular booty. And it's, yeah.
And you're working with the cover that I'm most familiar with there, Matthew, which is the blue with the red and yellow guy sort of punching stars out of the sky.
Yep. Yeah, we're looking at basic comic book, like 5/6 color here. This is a well-loved edition. Once upon a time, it was, in fact, laminated. That was before the dogs and the Cocoa Puffs, and I think someone's little brother drew in it. Yeah, this is a well-loved edition.
Yeah. That cover, to the best of my knowledge, it was the cover from the first version all the way up until the most recent version, which is the official second edition.
Yeah, now that is a shiny fucking book. Did you just buy that on the way here or something?
I decided to update on that one a couple months ago. I'd had a PDF for a while. I decided to get a physical copy.
Yeah.
Very nice.
I played a lot of Heroes Unlimited when I was a middle schooler and into my teens. We, as you do with Palladium games, we sat and spent hours making character after character after character. We would always roll it too. We would roll it straight up, try and randomly roll a character based off the random roll what character you are table, and just see what the kind of the craziest stuff that we could come up with.
Yeah. And in so many ways, Heroes Unlimited is one of the two other Palladium games one of the three other Palladium games that served as tent poles to build riffs off of.
Agreed. There's a lot of precursor here.
Yeah. Especially in the throw everything and the kitchen sink at a setting and go from there. And so, Heroes Unlimited is a all-encompassing superhero/hero game. You can play everything from a street vigilante to a mutant animal to a super soldier experiment to your classic X-Men style mutant to like a magic user or a stage magician. It runs the gamut, and you can build it all via the different occupational character classes in it. It has that whole issue/feature, depending on how you look at it, the Rifts does, where there's no attempt to level power from class to class. There's no attempt at all. And that's, in my view, that's a feature, because it allows you to very rapidly as a game master go, well, you can't play this class, and this class, because we're going for something that's like the New Warriors street level. Or you can throw everything in there and do Justice League of America, the Schneider cut, and and because you can have this game that has gun fondling galore via the classic Palladium weapon setup, plus a dude that can punch skyscrapers. It's got the whole gamut there.
I want to make a Bond villain named Gun Fondler Galore. Yeah.
Pussy's distant cousin.
Yep.
Magic users and Palladium lovers will be happy to note that the ritual circles are back in Magic, or perhaps were created here. No.
Oh, no.
Those are from Fantasy, but got put into Heroes. And that's one of the things about Heroes Unlimited. It originally came out in 1984 and has had 4 total releases, 1984, 1987, which was the revised edition where they added in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles stuff, and then a 1993 revision. All of them, you can't tell from the outside of the book that they're different, but the contents are different. Usually it's pretty minor. They literally just inserted the TRMN section or TMNT section for the second one, and did a couple other fixes, tweaks here and there. The 9th edition revised was a pretty major overhaul. They tweaked a whole bunch of the powers. I believe they added a couple occupational character classes. But, and then the latest and greatest, Heroes Unlimited, they renamed a whole bunch of classes, which is something they've been doing with a lot of the second editions, where they rename character classes, they nix character classes. And it's also one of the games that has had the most supplements for it after Rifts and Robotech. So
okay,
I can see that. The entire robot section was swiped. The art was swiped from Mechanoids, and one small piece from Robotech.
Oh yeah. Yep.
I mean, if you look at the modern book, there's clearly art from Rifts because you see some Triax logos.
Oh yeah. Definitely. So Heroes Unlimited. It's a really interesting system. It's a really great system. It's one of the better if you want to play a game with superhero systems out there. And it's also probably one of the most approachable superhero games where you can run the gamut from Daredevil and the Punisher all the way up to Thanatos punching stars. And that's the upside to it.
So, Matthew, you've got that book sitting there in front of you. I want you to turn to the superpowers section. Look for the minor superpowers specifically.
He says, like I have that memorized.
We're specifically wanting to look at the minor superpower of winged flight. This is one of my very few memories of the original Heroes Unlimited book.
Super abilities?
Yeah, super abilities.
For those of you following along at home, that's 163. Oh, I just flipped past the gun section. Ooh. Yes, I am here.
Okay, do you see B guy?
No.
Oh, there's no B guy?
There's no B guy.
Oh, man.
There's a man with a bad center cut and a knockoff of Storm.
Somewhere in the superpowers.
Oh, no, wait, there's B guy. He's 66. Yes, he looks.
That is, to me, one
mad.
of the worst pieces of art in the entire Palladium line. It's B guy.
It's the big guy.
He just looks like a monarch henchman to me. He's the mighty monarch.
In retrospect, you're right.
Yep.
Going back a few decades before that ever existed, maybe Palladium had the future vision to predict the Venture Brothers.
I now want to run the Venture Brothers in Heroes Unlimited.
Yeah, that's totally 47. Smurfs are fucking mammals.
But yeah, from my experience, I played Heroes Unlimited a bit here and there. I haven't had that many people who really liked playing superhero games for valid reasons. And so there wasn't a lot of call for it. However, I always had it over there in my Palladium collection as something that I could grab and pull stuff out of quickly. Like if I needed something off the wall for ninjas and super spies, or I needed to figure out how to create a weird gadget for something else, it was easily adaptable. Put the right spin on half the powers, and I created the monster of the week for Beyond the Supernatural. So my experience with it has been a limited number of games that I've run in it and used it as a beautiful grab bag for the non-riffs section of the Palladium Megaverse.
Just out of curiosity, when would you say that your last aged level was where you seriously played this game?
The last time I played Heroes Unlimited. Oh, that's easy. 2004. Yeah.
Because my last experience with it was junior high, and I'm wondering if you had something similar, NPC, because that seems like the superhero age.
My last experience with it was in my senior year of high school, but I've hung out with a shitload of Palladium nerds that year, people that I had never hung out with before because I transferred high schools my senior year. So I found all these Palladium nerds, and suddenly it was just Palladium all the fucking time. And Heroes Unlimited was the one. All I remember is running a game where one of the players was like budget dime store Wolverine, and a helicopter fell on top of him. That's all I remember about that adventure. And I only remember it because I dropped that helicopter on him.
Yeah, honestly, that junior high school probably would have been the last time I would have ever picked up Heroes Unlimited. But I had a whole bunch of friends who were into Wildstorm comics. And if you want a superhero system that can run the Wildstorm verse, Heroes Unlimited is like where your money is. You can do just about any character out of the Wildstorm universe. And so they were really into Wildstorm. We grabbed Heroes Unlimited, ran a short campaign, maybe 4 or 5 sessions total, and in the Wildstorm universe with characters made using the Heroes Unlimited rules. It worked out real well.
If I am remembering correctly, Heroes Unlimited has a system of skills based upon college education, where you determine what your education level was, and then from that you get like packages. If I remember, you can get things like Raised by Wolves, in which case you have very few practical skills except for like survival stuff, or all the way up to like triple doctorate or something where you just multiple packages and lots of choices, which I thought was pretty cool because in every other Palladium game I've played, they just give you a list of skills for your character class.
Over the versions, I'm not going to say editions because there's technically only 2 editions. They've tweaked that a bit, but yeah, I believe one of the earlier ones, they definitely had that as the basis for your education, with some occupational character classes definitely building in higher levels of education into it. So, yeah.
And I remember a few of the very interesting character classes that Heroes Unlimited gives you that they implement in a very unique and, in my opinion, fun way. For example, the Ancient Master is a character class that you can play. If you're familiar with Kill Bill, think of what's his name, Pai Mei, or any character that Sonny Chiba has played in a movie kind of stuff. Ip Man, the Ancient Master comes to the table with a shitload of weapons and a shitload of martial arts. And I believe they are essentially a 15th level character that you start the game playing.
Yeah, it's either 10 or 15. It's something like that. It's really jacked up, and in so many ways, it's a reskinning of the Ninjas and Super Spies dedicated martial artist, where you have a lot of martial arts derived abilities, but are kind of useless in downtown New York, except for kicking muggers' asses. You know,
even if you don't play this game and you have no interest, there is a reason to buy this, because there's a lot of post-apocalyptic in the Palladium world. And if you've ever wondered what the STC of a Lamborghini Countach was, or a Jaguar, or a U-Haul truck, or a DeLorean, or a Mercedes-Benz, or a Porsche, or anything like that, there is a list of stats in this for modern cars and modern vehicles, which I don't think has been repeated by name by the manufacturer name in any other books.
I'm going to have to grab my first edition Beyond the Supernatural and Ninjas and Super Spies, because I think they cut and paste some of those lists, but
as they are wont to do.
As they're wont to do. But I will say, Matthew, you hit it right on the head. I don't know how many supercars were destroyed in the various Heroes Unlimited games I've played.
Like, if you wanted to sell a Porsche to a warlord from Lone Star, I mean, you need this data. This is something you still need.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like I said, that's, even if you're not into superheroes, the Heroes Unlimited is such a great grab bag book to pick up, because you can do some pretty scary DBs that aren't all psionic and magical by just creating a mutant out of Heroes Unlimited.
Not just that, but Heroes Unlimited has another character class that I loved, and I made more characters intentionally out of this character class than any other, the Alien.
Yep.
The Alien is fascinating because they are essentially a class that gets another class. You start with building out their origin, what planet they're from, what their weird quirks are. And then you figure out what the alien's power category is. Like, are they a gun haver? Or are they, a gizmoteer? Or are they a super powered alien or something like that?
One of my favorite parts of the Alien class is step 7 in their character creation, which is for familiarity with Earth.
Yeah. Yeah. But the alien generation tables in Heroes Unlimited can easily be used if you want to play Rifts and think, I just want to play some random DB that fell out of a portal and is either kind of unique, but whatever reason doesn't appear in any of the other books. Just, grab the Rifts rules and make a character, roll your stats, and then grab one of those random generation systems from the Aliens Unlimited stuff, which is one of the expansions, I believe, and go to town. There you go. You have a unique DB.
Yeah.
I was just looking on page 232, and it's a little depressing. A, the B guy is there, reskinned. B, the world power hotspots and the gorilla hotspots and the nuclear trouble hotspots have not changed.
Nope. Nope.
I will say, one of the phrases they are fond of, a complete role-playing system, this book definitely qualifies as. It has villains, it has adventures, it has a massive amount of stuff in your world. I would say this is definitely one of their, no, really, guys, it is a complete role-playing game.
They were really good at actually making complete games back in the day. Honestly, I just don't know what happened with Chaos Earth. It just felt like it was rushed out the door. Yeah.
Well, I mean, this is getting a little off topic, but at the time, they were needing to turn around products pretty fast because they were coming out of the huge loss and were needed to move product. And
all right. Yep. What are some of your fondest characters that you've played, Jacob, in Heroes Unlimited?
Let's see. The mutant fire-breathing rock man. That was a favorite.
Mm-hmm.
He was made out of stone and could breathe fire because it was a total random roll character, and those were the only 2 powers he ended up. I played the stage magician, which was super fun because I was the only street level type character in someone who could hang with the X-Men any day of the week. And they couldn't talk their way out of a wet paper bag. And I was like bribing New York cops to look the other way as they broke the law all the time. And
I know the feeling. In gaming groups. Yeah.
That character was also the one where they spent 15 minutes arguing about how they were going to sneak into the club that the big bad operated as a front. Well, I just passed notes to the game master, and my character went off to the bar that was the public front of the club and pickpocketed an ID card off of somebody who was trying to get in. And I was like, okay, so we can go in now. I'm allowed 4 guests. And they're like, why do we bring you along anywhere? You can't do anything. Well, in this one case, I can do this. Remember the cop that was about to call the SWAT team on you, Iron Man, you know? But yeah, another one was an alien who subsisted completely on processed silica, which meant if you left him alone and he got hungry, your desktop computer was his lunch.
Ooh. What about you, Matthew? Any fond characters?
I've only played this once, and it was back in junior high. It wasn't my game, borrowed books, notebook paper kind of situation. But I do remember playing a complete, I want to say like the 3rd iteration Snake Eyes clone. We're talking the Night Visor Snake Eyes. His name was Silence. He was from a secretive clan. He had joined this paramilitary group of superheroes, and as a well physically trained ninja, he did not quite keep up, but he was very imposing. Very imposing. He died real fast. Also, preteens and early teenagers are not noted for impulse control and trigger discipline. So
I don't remember any of my Heroes Unlimited characters. I'm wondering if that just has to do with me having totally grown out of liking supers. Like, I haven't been into supers for a very long time. I do remember Ninja Turtles characters that I brought over into Heroes Unlimited games. And I do remember playing a lot of superhero games at a very limited period of time, including Hero System or Champions, I think it was, and also Marvel Face Rip game. And I remember, all I can remember is I played a character at one time, a joke character in a one shot, and we built a super group team. I don't remember which system it was, but it was a hero game, and I played the Brick. And the Brick was my favorite hero I ever played, because the Brick was the most fearsome opponent anyone could ever face. But he had it was hero system. I'm pretty certain it was either hero system or GURPS, maybe, because of the way you custom built a power and its limitations. Yeah. It was a one use ultimate power that I spent all of my points on. I couldn't move. I had no other skills. I was literally a brick that had a fear power on it. And they could only bring it out once per combat, and they could only bring it out when they were getting their ass kicked. And they'd be like, oh shit. They'd make a big hullabaloo about, we need to call the Brick. And then all the enemies would be immediately afraid because of this one power. And then the Brick would come out, and it was just a little brick with a face painted on the side and a cape. Oh, wait, no. I did play a Heroes Unlimited character that I think was a psionic, and it was a cardboard box with a face painted on the side of it. His powers only worked if someone put on the cardboard box as a helmet. I didn't take my character seriously at all.
Yeah. And not taking your character seriously in Heroes Unlimited can be fun. Going the other way and doing, shall we say, late 90s, early aughts superheroes where there was a lot more backstory and the implications of having superpowered people running around was being explored more and more. That's where I think Heroes Unlimited hits the sweet spot. The ridiculous and the what are the stories beyond smashing the evil genius's face this week,
Agreed. There's a lot of, especially for this time in Palladium, there's a lot of background that everyone can take, and a lot of motivators to go beyond. They wrecked New York this week. Guess what we're doing next week?
Re-wrecking it. Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's Heroes Unlimited.
That is Heroes Unlimited.
In short, It's a superheroes game, and it's made by Palladium. If you are familiar with the way Palladium games work, congratulations. You're familiar with the way Heroes Unlimited works. Now add some superpowers and go. And if you want to bring those Heroes Unlimited characters with those powers over to something like Rifts, guess what? We got a conversion book that tells you all about what you need to do. And I'm sorry, GMs, if any player ever convinces you to let them do that, because you're going to be in for a world of suffering.
Make them remake the character under Heroes Unlimited Second Edition. They've smoothed out the rough edges and made it far more compatible with the Megaverse at large.
Okay.
Yep. You're not going to run into the second coming of Phase World, the Space Knights.
The Cosmo Knights.
You're not going to run into one of those. There's not much chance of putting together a hero that will make a Cosmo Knight cry. So
Phase World is its own level, far above even Rifts in craziness. Even superheroes brought over to Phase World might not last. We'll talk about Phase World in the future, though.
And I do also want to mention very quickly some of the settings that came out for Heroes Unlimited, because the basic book literally is that basic book. There's not much of a world building or anything like that. But like Mutant Underground, Villains Unlimited, Splicers, they came out with books for Heroes Unlimited that created some very interesting worlds and are real fun to play in. So
cool. That's Heroes Unlimited. Any last thoughts?
Equipmentless. Oh yes. That was my last thought. I hope it was deep enough.
I'm not even going to try to follow that one because it's accurate.
All right. Well, thanks for listening, folks. You've been listening to The Glitterbois, a Palladium Books fan podcast. Glitterbois, Rifts, the Megaverse, and all other such topics are the property of Kevin Siembieda and Palladium Books. Please buy all their stuff and help keep them in print and making more games. You can order directly at palladiumbooks.com, and their entire catalog is available digitally at Drive-Thru RPG as well. Our opening music is 8-Bit Bass and Lead by Furby Guy from freesound.org. This closing music is Caravana by Philip Gross, available at freemusicarchive.org. All sound effects used are self-made or acquired via Creative Commons Zero license. If you like what you have heard, find us on Twitter and Facebook as The Glitterbois. That's BOIS. And check us out online at breakfastpuppies.com/glitterbois. And also join us on the Breakfast Puppies Network Discord at breakfastpuppies.com/discord. And if you want to help us out, please spread the word and help us build a community. Thanks again for listening. We'll catch you next time.